Welcome, guys. Welcome to a new episode of To the House. I'm your host, Leo Rodriguez. We had a busy week 7 this week. I believe this is week 7, right? Yes, I think so. Week 7, guys. Holy shit. We're almost towards the halfway point of the season. It feels so quick, man. It's just so unbelievable. But lots of things have happened in week 7. And these are the games I want to talk about, obviously. Let's get right into it. We have the MetLife Bowl coming right up. Big game between the Jets and the Giants. Finish an ugly 13-10 victory for the Jets in overtime. Yeah, this game was fucking terrible. Let's get into it. I mean, there was really no offense whatsoever. Defensively, both teams played tremendously. I think the Giants' defense did a very good job. They've been playing really good football the last 3 weeks. They've only allowed less than 10 points a game. Very impressive. I was just impressed by the Giants' defense, but the offense, obviously, guys, they're a fucking mess. Let's just go straight into it. The Giants are a fucking mess. They're a mess. And honestly, it's kind of sad how this team was a playoff team last season, 10-7. Won a playoff game, guys, by the way. They won a playoff game. They beat a very good Minnesota Vikings team in Minnesota. They destroyed them, guys. And they came in this season with a 2-6 record and arguably probably the worst team in football right now. I think if they play Georgia Bulldogs right now, they would lose. This is a bad offense, guys. This is a really, really bad offense that really, 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 really needs help. I hate to say this, but they're bad. They're bad. There's no other way to describe it. The offense was so bad that they had -1 passing yards the whole game. -1 passing yards by the great Italian stallion Tommy DeVito, who, in my opinion, how is he an NFL quarterback? I mean, if you're an NFL quarterback, you have some capabilities of throwing a beautiful throw. A spiral, maybe, if you feel lucky. I mean, this guy, they were not confident with this guy throwing the football. They ran the football most of the game. I mean, Saquon Barkley is the fact that they paid Daniel Jones all that money and did not pay Saquon Barkley just shows you how much of a fucking disaster the New York Giants are. And I know I jokingly put in the episode prior to this that the Giants are back, baby, as a joke. And then they go out and play probably the worst ever offensive performance in the history of football. It just shows you how bad this New York Giants football team is. They're fucking horrible. There's no other way to say it. They're fucking horrible, dude. There's no other ways to describe this team. Fans know how fucking bad they are. It's just really the organization that it just doesn't see it. You went out and get Darren Waller, all right, a very great Pro Bowl tight end, one of the best tight ends in the league, right? This guy is elite. Yes, he gets injured a lot, but when he's on the field, he's fucking really good. And last week, Tyrod Taylor was throwing him the ball more than ever, with Daniel Jones was starting quarterback. How do you screw that up when you have a great tight end in Darren Waller? I mean, look what the Chiefs are doing. We'll talk about them in a little bit. They have Kelsey. They only seem like they can only throw it to Kelsey, and it works. They're 6-1. Obviously, it's great to have a Pat Mahomes on as a quarterback, but still, if you have a tight end that's elite, has great hands, great route running, physical, throw him the fucking football. Tyrod Taylor finally figured that out. Then he got hurt yesterday. On the last against the Jets. And even then, Tommy DeVito couldn't throw a football? Like, you were not confident with Tommy DeVito at quarterback. Did you know who's playing the other side for the Jets? Zach Wilson, right? A guy that everybody's been criticizing all fucking year, even though I don't get it because I still think he played well enough to win the game. I mean, he made some throws that were quite impressive. Since their winning streak, since their 3-game winning streak, Zach Wilson's been nothing but fantastic. If anybody says that he's been bad, they're fucking stupid. Zach Wilson has played good football and has gotten this team 3 wins. Yes, their defense is great. They're elite. And they have a great running back in Breece Hall. But Zach Wilson's playing the level that he has to be playing. Content. And he's not turned the ball over that many times. He's thrown it pretty well. And that last minute drive where they had to tie the game, it was brilliant. He was brilliant. He's getting more confident. And Jets fans, you should be happy about this. You should be happy about Zach Wilson being this confident now in clutch situations. Because before, you didn't think that this guy was clutch at all. And guess what? He's making the throws. He's making good reads. And he played against a really good defense. A defense that is extremely confident right now. Because remember, they played against the Bills 3 weeks ago. And they only allowed 14 points. A high-powered Bills offense, by the way. And they only allowed 14 points. And then against the Washington Commanders the week before, they allowed 7. And the Washington Commanders scored 31 points against the Philadelphia Eagles, who a lot of people are saying is the best team in the league. I don't, but they are a very good football team. So this Giants team, his defense is legit. And Zach Wilson made the right throws. He made an incredible throw to Garrett Wilson on that last minute drive to get him into field goal range. And then in that drive to get to the game-winning field goal, it was fantastic. He was fantastic. Give Zach Wilson credit. But Tommy DeVito, come on. The Giants just didn't work confident with him. And if you're not confident with him, I mean, next week, what do you got to do next week? I mean, do the Giants have a bye week next week? I mean, let's see. The Giants' next game will be at... No, they don't have a bye week. They have to go to Vegas. So is Tommy DeVito playing? Is Tyrod Taylor playing? I mean, apparently they're saying that he's cleared to play, so maybe. But I feel like they're rushing him because they don't have anybody else. And they're not confident with Tommy DeVito. So the Raiders might win this game, even though the Raiders are fucking terrible themselves. But let's be real. This is a game where, it could get ugly. But enough talking about the Giants because they're a big utter dismantlement. We'll talk about them a little bit later. The Jets got the win. That's what I took away from this. The Jets got an ugly win, but it's a win's a win. A win's a win, and the Jets should be happy. They're 4-3. They're a game behind Buffalo, or they're tied with Buffalo for second place. They're a game behind Miami, and Miami does have to play the Chiefs next week. And the Jets, if I'm not mistaken, the Jets will be playing the Chargers on Monday Night Football. A winnable game for them. So honestly, the Jets could win. They could win 4 in a row. Be 5-3, be tied with the Dolphins for first place, possibly, and they're in a good spot. And Aaron Rodgers is throwing the football with a torn Achilles, reconstructed Achilles, giving fans a lot of hope and possibility that he might come back, which if he does, that'd be the most insane comeback I've ever seen in my life. But to be fair, Zach Wilson's doing the job. They're 5-3 and possibly a playoff team. This division is winnable now. I mean, Miami is slipping a little bit, and their defense is playing at a high level. They're at a high level at this point that Zach Wilson can have a semi-okay game like today, like against the Giants, and still win. So it doesn't matter. I mean, remember, these guys beat the Eagles, and right? They beat the Eagles. The only loss the Eagles got was against the Jets. So it just shows you that this Jets team is pretty legit. defensively. Offensively, they have a lot of work to do, but they are getting better and better as each week goes on. I mean, they're optimistic. I mean, that game was the perfect example. Score 13 points and you win a game. And Zach Wilson had to make a throw in 20-something seconds, and he made it. Now, this is a subject I have to talk about during this game. What the fuck happened to Brian Daboll? Like, I feel like we need to talk about this guy. I mean, like everybody was saying last season, he was the coach of the year last year, guys. He was the first fat man celebrated since Biggie in New York, right? That's what we were saying. That's what all the New York fans were saying. Like, we got finally a fat guy in New York celebrated, like Fat Joe or Biggie or Notorious B.I.G., if you guys know, or Big Pun. And he did an incredible job with this Giants team. Played good defense. Their offense was functional. What the fuck happened now? What on earth happened to the New York Giants? What happened to Brian Daboll? Did he suddenly forgot to coach? He's been absolutely terrible this season. Too many coaching mistakes. How the fuck you put out Graham Gano, who's been injured before the game even started? Missed field goals, ladies and gentlemen. Missed field goals. Multiple. In this game. And you go out to ice the game. We're going to ice the game. We're going to put in a field goal to basically ice it with a kicker who's injured. All you had to do is convert the fourth down and the game's over. No, you didn't even do that. You didn't even do that. What the actual fuck is wrong with Brian Daboll? You know what? I hate to say this. This might be the first time ever that a coach of the year winner is going to get fired by the next season. He needs to get fired. This is absolutely hysterically bad coaching. And the fact that this man has won coach of the year, but the year prior is insane to me. I'm sorry. I mean, yes, he did an incredible job because that Giants team is, as we're seeing right now, not very good. And the Giants had an opportunity to improve themselves by getting a better quarterback, by possibly trading for one, or maybe even doing something better. You went out and pay all that money to a mediocre quarterback, and then you don't pay the guy who actually deserved the money in Saquon Barkley. Now, I get it. You don't want to be the Cowboys where you pay all this money on a running back and it doesn't work out. But guess what? Saquon Barkley, yes, he gets hurt a lot, but he is your offense. He's an important part of your offense. So maybe you should have paid him first before you pay Daniel Jones. Because Daniel Jones is not your answer at quarterback. Obviously not. And the best thing that could happen to the Giants is that they're 2-6 and that they could possibly be in the hunt for drafting a quarterback and trying to figure out what the fuck to do with Daniel Jones. Obviously, if they can get real low, which right now they're competing against the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears for the worst team in football record and getting the number one pick to possibly getting Caleb Williams, I think it's safe to say that the Giants should just tank their season. Trade Saquon Barkley. Get him where he can get paid. So if I'm Saquon Barkley, today is the deadline day since we're recording on Tuesday. They really need to if I'm Saquon Barkley, I'm going to say, you know what? I need to worry about my future because obviously I'm not going to get paid here. This team's going absolutely nowhere, and it's going to be years until the Giants actually get anywhere because they paid all that money on a mediocre quarterback. They have a great defense, but their offense is far from being anything particularly good. They have some decent weapons. You have Darren Waller. You have Jalen Hyatt. Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard. You can't say you don't have a wide receiving corps. You have a decent receiving corps. You have a very good running back, which you don't want to pay. You have arguably one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen in football. Evan Neal saying those comments about Giants fans should have been the nail in the coffin for his career. But guess what? He's still playing. He's still a Giant. And he still fucking sucks. And the offense doesn't go well. The Giants went through 3 quarterbacks in a week. And guess what, guys? Daniel Jones is coming back. And he's going to get hurt again. He's coming back from a neck injury. And they're playing against the Raiders, who has Max Crosby coming in. Angry as fuck because their team is bad. And he wants to show how good he is because obviously he needs his money. So, in my opinion, no questions asked. It should be interesting to see what do the Giants do. But Daniel Jones is going to get murdered next week. The Raiders are going to be pissed. They're going to try to rush the quarterback. And we'll see what they do after that. But Brian Daboll should lose his job. If he doesn't get fired this season, at the end of the season, then the Giants are going to hell. They are going to even more and more depths, which I never thought they could have done, because even the year prior to the one prior to this season, they were bad as well. So we'll see how this goes for the Giants, but it's not looking good. Let's talk about the upset of the season. The biggest upset, I think, in football right now. This is a big upset. This was a massive upset. The Kansas City Chiefs traveled to Denver to take on the Broncos, and the Broncos won 21-9. Wow. The Chiefs, who were 6-1, coming against a Broncos team who were 2-6, 2-5, not very good. In disarray, their defense couldn't stop a fly. Russell Wilson looked really bad. Their offense was awful. And here they come. They nearly lost to a very bad Green Bay Packers team, by the way. And they came in, a lot of people are saying they're going to get smacked by Kansas City. They haven't beaten Kansas City in years. And they did the unthinkable. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes has finally lost a game to the Denver Broncos in his career. That's crazy. He also lost that was his first division loss of his career as well, guys. How fucking crazy is that? That's a crazy stat. Can you imagine being undefeated on the road in your division? In a division when you have the Denver Broncos in high altitude, always have a good defense, tough to play at, going to LA and with that huge stadium, decent team, the Raiders playing in the black hole, and you've won every single time. That's fucking awesome. That's how good Patrick Mahomes is. But the fact that the matter is, I kind of am surprised that this happened. But if he was going to lose a division game, it would probably have to be in Denver. It's hard to win at Denver. It's very hard. But not to make any excuses, Patrick Mahomes was sick the couple days before this game. He was dealing with the flu. And he said he felt better. Clearly, it didn't show it. It looked like he was not ready for this game. He looked very fatigued. Playing in that freezing cold Denver chill is not helpful at all. But the Broncos played great defense, man. The Broncos are showing potential, what they should have been the whole couple years of this new era with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson made the right throws. He looked good. Man. He played a very good game. Very good game. Probably his best performance and probably his biggest win of his Bronco career. But it was very impressive. I was very impressed by him, by this defense. This team has shown resiliency. I hope they can actually build upon this win. I really hope they do, because this is a big win, and they're 3-5. So that means they're not far away from making the playoffs. Now, I know this is crazy to even say this, because this Bronco team is not really good, and a lot can happen. Remember, it's the trade deadline. There's a lot of players that are in the market, especially in the Broncos. But the Broncos actually has something going now. They're 3-5. They're running the football very well now. They're running the football. Their offensive line has played a little bit better. Their defense has certainly played a lot better. I mean, they have a very good secondary. I mean, you have Patrick Surtain, who's a fucking animal. He's so good. And you have a solid linebacker crew, and you have a solid pass rushing, which really affected the Chiefs in this game. I mean, the Chiefs have had offensive line issues all year. And clearly, that showed in this game. That's how the Broncos managed to win this game. They've managed to pull turnovers. But another thing that is killing the Kansas City Chiefs is their receivers. They don't have that many good receivers. Sky Moore is not really working out. He's too inconsistent. You have Valdez-Scantling, who just drops balls like crazy. Then you get in Mecole Hardman, who just muffed a punt that gave the Broncos a chance to win the game, to ice it. You're too dependent on Mr. Taylor Swift. I mean, Travis Kelce, sorry. I love you, Travis. But Travis is elite. I mean, Travis is a great tight end. We all know that. But you get too dependent on him, people are just going to double cover him. And that's what's going to happen. I mean, the Chiefs have to spread the ball around. At least last year, they had Juju Smith-Schuster, who's a good, solid receiver he's very good of a 2 receiver, possible 1, but I think he's a 2. But Juju is a lot better than Sky Moore and these guys. And they kind of went away from the guys like McKinnon, like Jerick McKinnon, Isaiah Pacheco, trying to catch balls. They're making them run it. I mean, to be fair, that's fine, but who knows about what's going on here? I don't know what else I don't know what else they can do at this point. I don't know what else can they do, and if I'm the Chiefs, I would relax. I don't think things are going to be that bad, but I do think that the Chiefs are maybe going to start looking into maybe bringing in another receiver, possibly, and see what they can do and add a little more weapons. It doesn't hurt. I think they'll be fine. I think, obviously, they'll still win the division. They will still be the number 1 team in the AFC, but it shows that the Chiefs are beatable on any day. They're not as invincible as they once were. And teams like Cincinnati, Miami, which they're going to find out next week in Frankfurt, that they can beat them, that they're beatable. That game in Frankfurt's going to be huge for the Kansas City Chiefs. Huge. Because they have to win that game. If they don't, they lose that number 1 seed. And guess who's coming back? We'll talk about them right now, actually. The Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals winning 31-17 against the now vulnerable San Francisco 49ers. The Bengals are back, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Burrow is back. Healthy. A healthy Joe Burrow is a scary thought. It's a scary thought. I mean, they've always been a slow fall team anyway. They've always been a slow September team. Last season, they started 0-2. This season, they started 1-3. Now they're 4-3, back in the playoff hunt. The division is not too far away from them. They're only a game behind Baltimore, who's also fucking really good. I think, honestly, the Bengals winning this game, it's hard to stop them now. It's hard to stop this Bengals team, man. This Bengals team is good. I mean, Joe Burrow, when he gets it going, man, they're special. They're special. And they got a big game on Sunday night next week against the Bills, a game that they could easily win. It's exciting, man. This is like last year all over again with the Bengals. So I'm curious to see how does this work. If they beat Buffalo, which I truly think they can, then Baltimore has to worry because Baltimore, as good as they are, they didn't play a healthy Cincinnati team. They beat them, yeah, but they didn't play them. They didn't play a good one, a good Bengals team. Now this Bengals team is healthy, ready to go. Watch out. Watch out. But this Bengals team is just incredible. Joe Burrow's back. And, of course, the big thing that we're talking about is Brock Purdy. He had a very bad game. Not very bad. Maybe I'm overreacting. But he wasn't as good as he was their first 5 wins. And, yes, I know he was in concussion protocol. And they were saying that Sam Darnold was going to start. I think maybe the 49ers kind of brought him in too soon, because I think next week he'll bounce back. I'm sure of it. Yes, they've lost 3 in a row. People are freaking out. They got the Eagles coming up soon. It's an interesting game. It's an interesting game for the Niners. I mean, the worst part for the Niners is that they're not in first place in the division anymore, because now that goes to the Seahawks. The 49ers right now lucked out that they have a bye week this week before they take on the Jacksonville. They go to Jacksonville, which is a very tough matchup for them. But Brock could get it together. He's dealing with injury. Obviously, he's not ready. Now he'll be ready. I think they can bounce back. I still think they'll win the division. If Seattle manages to beat Baltimore next week, then it could be a little interesting. Maybe it could be a little tough because, I mean, Seattle's playing really good football. I mean, Geno Smith has played some fucking good football. And their running game is great. And their defense is back. They're elite. I mean, this team played against a very good Browns defense. And Geno put in 20-something points. Very solid. Very, very, very solid. He's been a very good quarterback since he's been there. I love Geno Smith. I'm all about Geno Smith. So I'm happy to see him bounce back in such an emphatic a way. But I do think that the Niners can bounce back and take that division still. But it also shows that they're vulnerable. It's good when you're on top of the mountain. And they were on top of the mountain, the Niners. But then when somebody takes you down on that mountain, how do you get back? Do you climb back or do you keep stumbling? Right now they're stumbling. But I still think eventually they'll stop and they'll climb back up. Because they are that good. They're just too talented of a football team. They're just too talented. Next game I want to talk about is a game that a lot of people didn't get to really see, but I saw and I was extremely impressed. The Falcons 23, the Tennessee Titans 28. The Titans are back, baby. They're back in the hunt. They were slipping and sliding down. Ryan Tannehill got hurt, so he was unable to play. Malik Willis, I mean, say what you want about him. He did not look very good in his game where he took over for Ryan Tannehill. The Titans went with Will Levis, and holy shit, this kid looked real good. My goodness, 4 touchdowns, 3 of them went to DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is finally back. He looked very good with Will Levis. Even at that point, DeAndre was very happy about getting the ball like that. Will Levis looked very good. He is a breath of fresh air for this offense. Too dependent on Derrick Henry, yes, because Ryan Tannehill can't really throw the ball effectively. He's not a very good quarterback. I think we already saw the ceiling with Tannehill when they got to the AFC Championship game and they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think we already saw the ceiling with this Titans team. I think now Will Levis is the future. I think Will Levis has got to be the guy now. You have to start with him. This offense looked so methodical. They looked so good with Will Levis. And he's the future. I think it's time. It's time to move the keys to the franchise to the kid from Kentucky. I think you got to give it to him. He looked really good. Really good. He looked fearless. He didn't make that many bad throws. He threw the ball really effectively. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's a big one. 0 interceptions. He did not turn the ball over. And he played against a good Falcons team. That Falcons team is very good. They're a solid team. Yes, they have a quarterback problem. If they just get their situation handled with their quarterback, this Falcons team is very dangerous. And obviously, in my opinion, are competing for the Bucs for the best team in that division. Yes, the Saints are in the hunt. Yes, you could say about the Saints. I don't like the Saints with Derek Carr. Me personally, I don't like Derek Carr anymore. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. The Falcons, if they could just get a quarterback, and the Bucs are starting to lose a little of their momentum. They have been struggling as of late, so I'm curious to see what they do in Tampa Bay. But with Atlanta, they have a lot of issues there. But for the Titans, their offense looked really good. But the trade deadline is coming up, and there's a piece that I think they need to move on from. I think they need to move on from King Henry. From Derrick Henry. Now you're going to tell me, I'm out of my fucking mind. Wait, what are you doing? Like, now they got Levis. They look good. They're back in the hunt. They're 3-5. They look very good. What are you doing? Listen, you can get a lot for Derrick Henry. You can get parts. Running backs you can replace. Yes, Derrick Henry's special, but he gets injured a lot. And you get too dependent on him. You got a quarterback now that can actually throw the ball. And throw it, and is not afraid to throwing it big, more than 20 yards. This guy is a quarterback that could change this fortunes of this franchise now. Levis looks so good. I think maybe you have to start seeing what you can get from the rookie and see where you can go in the next couple of years with Levis. I think Levis has looked like the real deal now. He looks the real deal. He's playing like it. He's playing like it very well. Derrick Henry gets hurt, and he hasn't really ran the ball effectively in a while. Trade him. There's teams that are looking to trade for a running back, and why not? Why not? Why not, Tennessee? Why not trade Derrick Henry? You can get parts for him. It's exciting. You can do something here with Derrick Henry. You can get some picks and obviously build around Levis and their offense, become more of an aerial team with a good running back. They already have a solid running back there with Devontae Freeman. So I'm curious to see what they do. But I think it's time. If you don't do it this year, do it next year. But the Titans have something special now with Levis. I'm very curious to see what they could do with Levis next season. Obviously, we'll talk about Sunday Night Football as the Chicago Bears finish getting smoked. They got blown out by the Chargers. I don't even want to say the score because it was that one-sided. My first question talking about the Chicago Bears is that why are they on Sunday Night Football? Like, can we talk about that? NBC, what were you thinking putting in the Chicago Bears on Sunday Night Football against the Chargers? I mean, we all knew the Chargers are a better football team than the Bears. The Bears are terrible. I think my high school varsity team could beat the Chicago Bears. They're just that bad. Why on earth are they on Sunday Night Football? And why on earth would you put these fans in their misery to watch that Sunday Night Football game? It was just absolutely terrible. Why would you ever put that game on primetime on a primetime TV slot? Absolutely terrible. But we'll go from there. The Chargers got a huge win to ease the storm. They were slipping and sliding. They were not playing well. Finally got a big win. A win that got their offense going. Their defense played really well. And now with the Chiefs' loss right now, it kind of gets them a little confident. They're not too far away from the Chiefs. They're probably the closest team to catching up to the Chiefs. So we'll see how this goes. But big win from the Chargers. That's all I'm going to talk about in this game, because this game was absolutely 100% one-sided. And it was not even it was a joke. It was a complete, utter joke. And the NFL, please do better. At least next week, next Sunday night's game is fantastic. We're getting Bills-Bengals. That's a good game. Now, I'm not sure what Thursday Night Football will be. Thursday Night Football next week should be... Let's go see. Thursday Night Football this week will be Titans Steelers. So we get to see Will Levis and Kenny Pickett. I kind of like that. That's actually a nice matchup, and that's a huge test for Levis to see if he can do that again like he did against the Falcons. So, Week 9 has gone a lot better. I'm sorry, guys. I said Week 7. It's actually Week 8. Oh my God, so embarrassing. But Week 9, guys, that's exciting. That is exciting. I'm excited to see this. I hope that we get things better here, guys. But so far, so good from week 8. And obviously, Monday Night Football happened last night. Raiders took it on the Lions. Raiders losing 26-14 to the Detroit Lions. Detroit getting a big win. They're 6-2. They're running away with the division. The only team that is closest to them now is the Minnesota Vikings, who are 4-4. Lost Kirk Cousins. So curious to see will they bring a quarterback. But Detroit's winning that division. They're running away with it. They looked granted, it was a sloppy game from Goff. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But Jahmyr Gibbs came to life. Another great Alabama running back, guys. What can we say? Jahmyr Gibbs is he's legit. He's very much legit, and he's worked out great. Ahmad St. Brown had a great game. Defense was playing really well. Jimmy Garoppolo really struggled, and I hate to say this, guys, but the Raiders really made a mistake paying all that money to Jimmy Garoppolo. 49ers knew what they were doing. They were very happy to let him go. So, let the Raiders now make their mistake. Why would you ever pay all that money for a quarterback that really never won it? So that's on them. But all right, guys, episode done of the To the House episode. I'm very excited to be week 8. It was a very exciting week 8, but now we get towards week 9. We're already at the halfway point of the season, guys. Unbelievable. And I'm very excited to say, guys, happy football. Merry Christmas to you guys. Hope you guys have Merry Christmas. Holy shit. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Happy Halloween. Jesus. You see, I'm already in Christmas mode because after today, we're thinking about Christmas. So, guys, sorry about that. So, have a great, happy Halloween. Please get a lot of candy. Enjoy, guys. And I hope your costumes look great. I saw some great costumes lately. And, yeah. And if you're a Giants fan, guys, I'm really sorry for you. I have a funny story before we leave here. So a person I've been talking to, she's a big Giants fan. Her family's always rooted for the Giants. And, I like to get my Christmas presents. That's funny when we're talking about Christmas. I like to get my Christmas presents done early. So, I usually around this time or November, I start getting ready to shop because I do most of my shopping online. And I was, getting ready to do some Christmas shopping. And I asked her, I was like, hey, what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, I think I saw the throwback Nike Giants home jersey they did with the blue with the red band on the sleeves. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful jersey. One of my favorite jerseys to look at. Giants always have a nice uniform, but that one for sure is one of the nicest. And I showed her. I was like, hey, do you have one of these? She's like, no, but my dad does. And I was like, oh, I got to get you one. And she's like, oh, you don't have to. And then when they came to so I said, all right, I want to. It's for Christmas. I want to be nice to you. I've always liked to be nice to people. Especially when I'm talking to her, so I'm like, I want to, should give her the Christmas spirit. I'd be like, I want to get you something nice. I always like to do that. But, so I asked her, like, what do you want what do you want on the back of the jersey? And my favorite response I've ever gotten was that she said, I don't know, because everybody fucking sucks. That was the funniest shit ever. One of the funniest answers I've ever heard, but it's so true. Who the fuck do you want on the back of that jersey? So I mentioned maybe Eli, but then she's like, I don't know, he doesn't play there anymore, and that's how long it's been. Since Eli. Since anybody would be worth getting for the New York Giants. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy how things have gotten this bad for the Giants. And I feel for the Giants fans, things will get better, guys. But that was a story I had to add into the podcast. It was so funny. But guys, have a great, merry Halloween. See, I'm mixing Christmas with Halloween again. Be safe. Guys, we're getting close to Thanksgiving, so we can get all fat and gain all our weight that we try to lose all year in one sitting. I'm very excited about Thanksgiving. November's here, guys, and it's here. Thank you, guys. To the house.